Hello everyone, welcome back to A Couple Books. This is Couple. As per usual, today we are doing something pretty fun. I was not planning on picking up the series yet, but you guys were pushing me in the comment section down below. A few of the booktubers who I really trust their opinions said I need to pick this up ASAP. And in addition to that, I had a few fabulous booktubers that I watched that I also really enjoyed their commentary on the book series as a whole. So I decided to give the first book a chance. Today, I'm going to do a deep dive into the book because I loved it that much. So this is going to be a complete and total book review on the first book in the Chaos Walking series, The Knife of Never Letting Go. So let us get into this book review. So excited to have you guys along with us. Let us get started. The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This was my first ever Patrick Ness novel, and I absolutely super enjoyed it. For those who don't know, this is a book that basically follows our main character, Tom. His name is Tom. Todd. His name's Todd. We follow our main character named Todd. Todd is growing up in this town named Preston Town. In this town, there is a very sad history, and unfortunately, all of the women and half the men in this town died off years ago due to a very unfortunate virus that was released, and it killed off all the women and killed off half the men. And now there is a very small group of people living in this town. It's all men, all the women are gone, and we follow Todd. Todd is the youngest child in this village, and since there's no more women, there are no more children being born. So he is the youngest one. This book starts off on the eve of his 13th birthday, which is when you become a man in this town. The very interesting thing about this book, and what makes it super unique compared to other books, this book takes place in a town where everyone can hear their own thoughts and everyone else's thoughts, which is kind of crazy. You hear everything, you see everything everyone around you is thinking. It's absolutely crazy. The animals talk in this world, and this is all some kind of side effect / symptom of the virus itself, and that same virus that killed off all the men and women. And basically we meet Todd, the youngest kid in this small town, and he goes off and he is currently in the swamps looking for apples, I do believe. And while he's in the swamps, he encounters silence. And by silence, I mean he encounters no noise, meaning he does not hear any of the animals or any of the humans' thoughts. He doesn't hear any of the animals talking. He doesn't know what this silence is. He doesn't know what's going on or what it means. But it starts off a wild ride. This book was absolutely insane. It was so good, so much fun. Highly recommend everyone pick it up. With that being said, I do really want to go into a deep dive spoiler section onto this book, so the rest of this video is going to be spoilers. So for those of you who are going to go pick it up, please let me know down in the comment section down below. We loved having you guys here with us. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button on your way out if you've not already done so, and be sure to comment down below if you're going to pick it up or not. I'm super interested to hear who is excited to pick up the series. With those lovely people gone, let us now get into some spoilers of this book. This book was utterly insane. I legit picked it up on a whim Friday night, was like, I need to read a book. I'm kind of getting tired of Ready Player 2. I just need a book to kind of like give me like a fresh taste in my mouth. I need something fresh. I picked this book up knowing it's young adult. Young adult's not my favorite genre, but I heard it's really good. You guys recommended it. I picked it up. Oh my God, people. This is an amazing book. An amazing book. Like, OMG. This book was insane. Like, this book was absolutely, completely crazy. I loved it so much. So, let me get into some of the things I hated about the book since I've been raving about it nonstop. In order to continue with this review, let us kind of do a little refresher for those of us who've not read this book in a long time. This book, as we know, follows Todd after he encounters the silence. The silence ends up being a girl, and once upon spotting the girl, he goes back to his parents, or his adoptive parents, these two guys who've lived together, Killian and Ben, I want to say, yeah, Killian and Ben. And once he tells them what he saw and everything that happened, they realize it is now time to send him on his merry way. They give him a book full of mysterious notes and writings that he can't necessarily read too well because he's not so proficient at reading, and they say that he needs to escape from this town ASAP. They are waiting to give him as much time as possible, but it's too late now that he's encountered what he's encountered, and he needs to go. And so he flees, and he basically slowly unravels the whole fact that Preston town is not the only town out there. This is a whole alien world filled with insane different types of people out there, and that Preston town is a massive utter lie. Women are alive, women are fine. The fact is that there was a virus that leaked out that caused everyone to be able to hear everyone else's voices, and this also gave the animals the ability to speak. Unfortunately, not everyone responded the same to this predicament. Some people started dividing men and women, segregation method. Some people decided to kind of integrate it fully into their society and continue living life as normal as best as possible. And then there are people like Prestostown who decided to, and if you've not read this book, please leave the video right now, kill off all their women, which was insane. This book, that ending, like, I saw it coming, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I definitely saw like a massive like culling going on in this book. Like, the town was just a little bit too creepy for that not to be the case, but it was a complete shocker for me. I was completely caught off guard by it, did not expect it happening. So, now, with that kind of refresher in your mind, hopefully as you remember what this book's about, let me tell you guys what I thought about it in general scopes. There are some things I loved, there's some things I hated, and then I will leave you guys to go re-pick up this book if you guys are so interested. So, in A Knife and Never Letting Go, some of the things I really hated about this book was I did not love our preacher, the unkillable preacher. Like, that was so stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, did not like it. I don't love the whole non-killable character. I really don't like it when dead characters come back to life. I have a huge issue with that. It happened in one of my favorite fantasy series, which I can't say which because then it's a spoiler, but it's a big issue when characters come back to life or characters just refuse to die. Like, come on, like, we're not invincible people. This guy got eaten by a crocodile, he got smashed in the face multiple times, he got thrown off of things, and he is still alive and kicking. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of that. Second thing I'm not a huge fan of was I was not obsessed with the initial writing style of Patrick Ness. Patrick Ness has been an author recommended to me multiple times. I've seen him all over BookTube. I have been looking forward to picking up Patrick Ness. I'm so glad I picked up this novel, and I really enjoy this author's work and excited to finish the series. With that being said, the initial onslaught or the initial impact of his writing really threw me off. Was not a huge fan. I later started picking up that this is obviously because we're reading this book from a perspective of a 13-year-old. So I enjoy what he did, and it grew on me once I kind of was putting together what was happening and what perspective he was writing from. It made a lot more sense, and I was much more okay with it, and I actually kind of really loved it. But initially, it was like a big, like, I could see someone picking up this book, reading the first chapter, and just like saying no thank you because they are turned off by the writing style. It's a danger of writing so well from the perspective of your character. If you're not writing from an adult, but you're writing from a child, you have to write differently if you want to write from their perspective. I totally respect that, I understand it, and I know it. Fact is, though, is that how it initially comes off is it kind of was not great. The reason I was so in love with this book initially was because I love small town creepy vibes, like those my bread and butter, and I was obsessed. The next thing I didn't love was Viola was not such a strong female protagonist. I did not love her. She didn't speak, and then when she did speak, it wasn't anything that great to say. She didn't really add too much to the story, to be honest with you. Like, legit, when she disappeared, when you guys know the preacher kidnapped her or whatever, I wasn't like, yes, I wanted obviously him to get her back. I'm not a monster, but like, I didn't really like miss her from the story. Like, it wasn't like, wow, the story's missing so much about Viola there to comment or to say something. Like, she just wasn't such a great character. And honestly, I just didn't love that part of her. Like, I felt like there was a great opportunity here to put in an amazing female protagonist. This is the first woman our main character's ever seen or ever interacted with. This should have been a great experience. It also could have been a very amazing moment. There's so much potential there, I felt. And I just felt like it was completely lacking, and Viola was not a strong, independent female protagonist that I wanted her to be in this story, and it was really upsetting, especially with the story and kind of the themes it speaks on, which I'll talk about later. Could have been better. Next was the pacing. This book was up and down, roller coaster all over the place, which I really didn't enjoy. I know some people like the lulls. I was not a huge fan of the lulls. Like, I felt like it was fast-paced, and this book was definitely fast-paced. There's no doubt about it. But it was kind of like fast-paced, and then it was like hard stop, and then it was like fast-paced, and then hard stop, and then hard stop. Not a fan of the hard stops. You know, I can understand we all need to rest every now and again, and I know we need to get our 8 hours every night, but that was too much for me. So, with that being said, let's get into the things I love, because there's so much about this book I loved. Okay, number one, fantastic storytelling elements. This is a well-told story. The fact that I didn't read anything about this book before I picked it up. I just knew people liked it. I knew it was fast-paced, as Elliot Brooks said so, and I was like, I'm gonna read it. I read it, I legit was completely caught off guard by it, because literally you're 100 pages in and you start realizing that this is actually a science fiction book. I was completely shocked. Did not see that coming in the slightest. Really enjoyed it. Really thought it was excellent, and I really enjoyed that element of it. The storytelling was off the charts. Next were the themes, key takeaways. As we all know, no story is without its morals. The morals in this book were insane. From Ben's deep-hearted connection with his adopted son and what inaction does to somebody. You know, they always say, like, inaction, you know, breeds, like, inaction is just the breeding of the opposition. You know, like, if you're refusing to fight against the evils of the world, you are taking part in the evils of the world. 100% true. Here, Ben comes to terms with his adopted son about the inaction and how him and Killian never stepped in between the town men when they went to go kill off all the women. Like, that inaction, while yes, they are not necessarily evil themselves, they did stand by. And that is a huge key takeaway, and Ben deals with that, and Ben relates to his son that inaction is not how we're supposed to be. Opposite reaction is the best approach to evils. Next, in terms of the takeaways, the religious commentary involved with the other human elements in the story were off the charts in my personal opinion. There is so much religious commentary on there, which I always enjoy. Good, not overly shoved down your throat religious commentary. I really always enjoy that in a book. I thought they did it really well in here. We're talking about, these are like Christian settlements here. Like, these are like the missionary groups who came to this place first looking for, you know, a more calm, more, let's say, a more easy, not easy, but a more simple life, let's say. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed how you saw opposite sides of where that branched off from. All these people started off as obviously believers, since they are believers in a religion, since they're all missionary groups, but then you see how a catastrophe known as the noise in this book brought them each individually down to different kinds of levels, or rose them up in some cases. It was very interesting indeed, and I really enjoyed that. And also the commentary on human action and like what it does, and how there's how some people are just evil in their actions and stuff like that, and all, like, it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. Like, great commentary on this. Next, the fact that I didn't really understand the genre of the book, as I said before, was fantastic, but this builds more into the world building. I really love the world building in this book. It was utterly fantastic. I know I keep saying that, how many times I said utterly fantastic, I don't even know, but the fact is you first start off in this small town, and then as the character goes on his journey, the world builds and builds and builds and builds, and I love that. Great writing by Patrick Ness. And lastly, this cannot go unmentioned, but Manchi, if that's how you pronounce the dog's name, was amazing. I love Manchi. Manchi loves me. Manchi's amazing, and I cried so hard, people. With that, that is my review of The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, first book in the Chaos Walking series. I super duper enjoyed it. I'm going to be giving it 4 stars. I did have a few issues, as I outlined, but I overall thought it was a great book. So be sure to check it out if you guys are looking for a good, solid reread. And with that, I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye now.